Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail Series. Today, we traveled to the Canadian border to take the hiking club at Grand Portage State Park. According to the DNR website, Grand Portage is the only state park in Minnesota not owned by the state of Minnesota. It is in fact owned by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which holds it in trust for the Grand Portage Band. The operation of the park rests primarily with the DNR and is implemented through the Parks and Trails Division. Cooperative effort was established in 1989, creating the park. The wildlife at the park includes a plethora of animals, such as eagles, ospreys, otters, beavers, great blue herons, white-tailed deer, moose, and black bears. The position right on the Canadian border also provides another little oddity. There is no cell towers near on the U.S. side, so your cell phone will pick up a cell service signal from Canada, specifically Ontario, which is in the Eastern Time Zone. It's such a nuisance that the DNR puts it on the front page of the park website, so make sure you keep that in mind. The forest is a mixed hardwood forest that has spruce, pine, balsam, cedar, poplar, ash, birch, and aspen trees. The forest is thick and adds a fantastic sight to the trail even before you get to the falls. But the background of the forest at the falls is just fantastic. The most popular feature of the park is High Falls, a 120-foot waterfall on the Pigeon River that you can see take its plunge only a mile trail away from the visitor center. It holds the title of the tallest waterfall in Minnesota, and it's certainly no less majestic than Minneopa Minnehaha or Vermilion. It created an area that caused river travelers to have to get out and walk around, giving the area its name of Grand Portage. The geology of High Falls is a similar story to a lot of North Shore parks, but no less interesting. It goes back nearly 2 billion years when there was an inland sea over the area, and the passage of time deposited mud, sand, and the immense pressure of the sea hardened this layer. Time passed, as it always does, and a rift formed nearby, causing basalt lava to spread out in the area. In Grand Portage, the lava must have been cooler and slower, as a result resulted in a diabase intrusion. These penetrated the older shale rock and created extremely erosion-resistant dikes. There's an interesting debate about whether the gorge was created by High Falls is only 9,000 years old, which is when Superior receded from this area after the glacier passed through, or if the gorge existed prior to that and was simply re-excavated after the gravel that was deposited from the glacier was removed. Accounting for 1 mile of the hiking club, the trail starts immediately from the visitor center and heads directly for High Falls. It is primarily tarred, with the final leg being a boardwalk that brings you up to the overlooks for the waterfall. Just before you get underway, if you take the right way around the visitor center, there is a platform to the right that overlooks a nice swampy area. If the clouds are just right, it could be an amazing view with the water reflecting them from above. This is the type of overlook I'd love to see a moose from. They're big, and this would be a nice safe distance. Surrounded by tall trees, there's a narrow crack of sky from above. The trail heads into the woods. It's quite a popular trail, and as a result, you likely won't be alone on it. This should help to reduce the likelihood of seeing an animal you'd not like to see on the trail, such as a black bear, but it won't eliminate the possibility entirely. A nice aspect of the trail to the falls is that it's handicap accessible. The boardwalk brings you up to a falls and a very nice outlook. There are 2 additional outlooks from the falls that you kind of have to go up some stairs, but you can get to what I thought was the best view in a wheelchair. About halfway between the falls and the visitor center, there's a small offshoot trail that brings you out to the rocky shore of the Pigeon River. It's a neat way to get more up close to the gorge walls downstream from the falls, and to see the type of rocks that make up this geological formation. It's also just an enjoyable diversion to take in on your way to the falls. I especially like looking up the stream into the gorge where the High Falls is located and watching the water flow out of it. You can't see the waterfall from here, but you can see the shelf-like rock that makes up the gorge ahead. My favorite part of the trail was the waterfall. The trail splits into 2 areas when it gets up to the viewing ledge. The first continues to the right, and there's a nice open viewing area without the need to traverse any stairs, and then a set of stairs behind that gives a slightly higher perspective of the falls from a lower viewing area, but there are several trees that restrict the sightlines. There's also another way that goes kind of more straight from the main way, and it continues upwards. It provides a closer, higher vantage point of the falls, but while spectacular, I thought that flat viewing area provided a more complete view of the falls with the surrounding gorge and forest visible in the sightline. The forest and river section leading up to the falls is beautiful, to be sure, but my favorite part is the waterfall for sure, and I'd wager it'll be yours too. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this edition of the series, let us know. Also, let us know which one you'd like to see next.